how the most powerful Yakuza battle and the strongest creature on Earth would look like. Welcome to Ackerman Recap. Today let's watch this battle together. While strolling, Hanayama was intercepted by a thug blocking his path, holding a gun and threatening him. However, in that brief moment, Hanayama yawned comfortably, making the thug break into a cold sweat. Later, he approached and grabbed the thug's hand. He crushed the gun and the thug's hand. Hanayama wondered if he would feel bored if it had been Yujiro standing in front of him at that moment. A few days later, he went to ask Mr. Toku to arrange a fight with Yujiro, which moved Mr. Toku to tears. Toku praised Hanayama for daring to speak such brave words. The two of them went to a fish pond to confide in each other. Toku remembered the brutal battle between Hanayama and Yujiro at the amusement park 5 years ago. It was indeed a horrifying and painful night for Hanayama. You can watch episode 8 of Baki the Grappler for this. Here's a summary of this battle. At this time, Hanayama is only 14 years old, as far as I remember, and Baki is around 13. They are engaged in a fierce fight. Baki manages to withstand Hanayama's punches and thinks he has won. However, he is suddenly punched into a wall by Hanayama and loses consciousness. Hanayama is also exhausted and lies down to rest. But then, Baki slowly regains consciousness and approaches Hanayama. Unexpectedly, Baki starts chewing on broken pieces of glass to inflict pain on himself when punched. Hanayama praises Baki for this act and says that Baki has won. However, Baki insists that if this were an official match, he would have lost. Both of them engage in a cheerful conversation after the tense battle, and the onlookers applaud and celebrate the end of the fight. Yujiro had heard about the battle and was on a helicopter. He held a coil of rope and confidently jumped down to where the two kids had just finished fighting. He rappelled down and landed in the midst of Hanayama and the others, leaving everyone in utter shock. Yujiro said, "Just in time, the fight has only just begun." The previous deadly battle had left the two youngsters severely injured, but for Yujiro, it had barely started. Baki replied, "That's enough, Dad, we're done fighting." Yujiro chuckled, "You're still soft-hearted, Baki." Hanayama, despite being exhausted, still confidently said, "Do you want to continue? Fine, I'll fight you." Yujiro had never turned down a challenge from anyone before, saying, "Sure thing, kid." Hanayama rushed forward to strike, but had both of his legs broken by Yujiro's powerful kick. Refusing to give up, he intended to use the strength of his hand to crush Yujiro's hand, but Yujiro's muscles were too sturdy. Yujiro tossed a 160 kilos person like a ball and delivered a powerful kick, sending Hanayama crashing into the wall. It seemed like he had lost consciousness, but no, he still struggled to get up. Despite his broken legs, Hanayama attempted to stand, but Yujiro said, "Let me help you," and snapped his jaw before delivering another punch. This time, Hanayama truly lost consciousness. Returning to the present, Tokugawa mentioned that Ogre wasn't currently in Japan, but if there was a challenge from Hanayama, he would definitely return. Hanayama was strolling down the street, and everyone looked at him with fear in their eyes. His massive body, along with countless scars, bore witness to the countless blood-soaked battles he had endured. On the same street, on the other side, Yujiro was also taking a walk. People couldn't help but feel the malevolence emanating from this man. His muscles seemed like metal, as if they were about to explode. His vigilance was terrifying, and even if lightning struck, he would probably evade it. Finally, the two of them crossed paths. Hanayama explained that he had come to find Yujiro because he had encountered some issues. Yujiro's hair fluttered, and he himself had experienced a situation similar to Hanayama's countless times. Since there were many people around, Yujiro suggested that they both take a stroll around. Both of them started a conversation. Hanayama mentioned that after witnessing the battle between Yujiro and Baki, he always felt bored with everything and often yawned. Yujiro, irritated, responded, "So how can this Hanma Yujiro help you?" as he crushed his eyeglasses. As the conversation was getting tense, a kid appeared asking for Ogre's autograph. With just one look, Yujiro made the kid wet his pants. Then Yujiro used his hand to tear the paper into 4 pieces. Hanayama laughed and remarked that Yujiro had become too kind. In the past, Yujiro would have chased the kid away immediately. Hanayama had waited long enough and wanted everything to happen right there. Yujiro allowed Hanayama to attack first. "All right." Hanayama leaned back, preparing to deliver a punch. A straight punch to Yujiro's face. His opponent stood still, without avoiding it. A loud explosion rang out, and it seemed like Yujiro had been blasted dozens of meters away. But no, He hadn't budged even an inch. A terrifying smile appeared on Yujiro's face. Undeterred, Hanayama exerted force to throw a hook punch at Yujiro's jaw, but Yujiro still didn't flinch. Another powerful punch followed, yet Yujiro continued to converse casually. Hanayama stepped back and leaped towards Yujiro with force. This time, Yujiro didn't stand still to absorb the blow. Perhaps he sensed the power behind this punch. As the punch neared his face, he withdrew his hand from his pocket. Then he opened his palm wide and grabbed Hanayama's face. The sensation for Hanayama was like being hit by a truck. He was sent flying tens of meters away, shattering the glass door, knocking over 4 large shelves, and falling unconscious. Yujiro had effortlessly launched Hanayama, a nearly 166 kilos man, with a single strike. Despite his defeat, Hanayama's face displayed a satisfied smile.